What up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to show you how to catch the swing highs and swing lows in the market, trading in the direction of the trend and possibly some reversals. This is an easy indicator on TopstepX on the platform that you can implement. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off on the 1 minute chart here. I'm just going to show you some simple plots that I already have marked up. So down here, we have the stochastic indicator, and I'll show y'all how to add this and what we use it for. So if you go up to the top right here on TopstepX, it says indicators. We're going to click on that. And we're going to type in Stoch, and you will see one that says stochastic. The stochastic RSI is a little bit different, but today we're going to be using the regular stochastic oscillator. Also, I just want to show you how I trade. This is just a little introductory of what I look for whenever I'm trading the markets. I'm just kind of giving out some information that I've learned and what I've tested and what's been working for me lately. Hope y'all enjoy this video. So y'all can come in here and change these settings to whatever you want. If you we're trying to find divergences on price, and the stochastic, and we use the K and D to help that a little bit. The settings for that is 5, 2, and 3. You can mess around with them and change them a little bit. You can change the K length, trying to, faster pace, different charts, blah, blah, to kind of get a different read. This is the one that I like. You can change the colors and all that. So now let's get into actually using it in the market. So we're going to start off on looking at the 1 minute so I can explain the basics of it. Right here, you can see we're in a sideways chop zone. The market comes down. We have the stochastic slowly coming down with the price, and the market comes up. The stochastic's going up to an extreme. The stochastic is a bound indicator. It can only go to between 0 and 100. It cannot infinitely run like the MACD or something else. Also, just because the stochastic goes to an extreme doesn't mean the price is going to reverse to the opposite direction. So right here where I have circled, as you can see at the low, we actually have a divergence on the price and the stochastic. So at this low right here, if you follow my dotted line up, the price at this low right here, the stochastic is at 6, and price is right here. The price dips a little bit lower and goes even lower, but the stochastic is actually going up. So that is a divergence between price and stochastic, which that gives us a better swing low, a higher percentage of it to go up whenever you have a divergence on the stochastic versus price. Whenever we are getting our entries, this gives us a little bit more of a confirmation for the trade, and I will show you later on of why this would be a good trade for a breakout. So also, this is another example right here on the stochastic. We are actually bouncing. This is actually a pretty decent one also. We are bouncing off the 50. The yellow line right here is the 50 SMA, and we're actually bouncing off of it, making a divergence on the price and the stochastic. Price is coming down further with the bottom wicks, and stochastic is starting to rise. I like using the EMAs and the SMAs and the MAs as a support or a resistance, and looking to time the entries in the trend using the stochastic also. Getting a hook on the actual MA 15, 50, 100, 200, if you want to use the 19, the 24, I think some people use, you can also use those. Basically, it just gives you a higher probability if you get the hook on a support or a resistance level. All right, so now let's bring the 5 minute in also with this and see if we can get some entries with alignment where the stochastic on the 5 minute is angling up, and also we have a divergence on the price, or we have a hook on the 1 minute also. So this isn't one of the setups that I like to see for a breakout pattern. As you can see on the 5 minute, we are just going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're just consolidating pretty bad right here. We also have a downwards trend. We're having more of a bull flag right here after a push. And usually whenever we have a parabolic move like this, where we just keep going up without much of a pullback, we see this consolidation. And with market experience, you'll see we'll get this until the 50 SMA, like the market comes back to the mean, or the 50 SMA catches up to price before we'll see a breakout. And this is, I guess you could call this a fake out, because on the 1 minute, we're going up, down, up, down, up, down. We finally seem to break this previous low, but also we did it back here too. And we faked out and went straight up. And this is what I like about this trade. I did not take this trade. This was actually just back. These are just examples I'm showing. We actually came down on the 5 minute. We touched the 50 SMA right here where the circle is. And we also had a divergence in the price on the 1 minute. We started hooking up on the 5 right on this bar. So right when this 1 minute candle closed and this one opened, we already had a little bit of a hook on K. D, The longer term stochastic was still facing down, but we already had that hook on K, which is a little bit faster moving. So this would have been a really good setup with the trend. The 50 SMA is angling up, and we rejected the 50 SMA. We got the hook, divergence on the low on the 1 minute, and we're in the direction of the 5 minute. So this is a very difficult setup coming from a relative top on the 5, and which we can see we had a relative top right there. Coming from a relative top, this probably wouldn't have been the best setup, but you can also see we did get a hook, a half hook. If we come back below, below 50, it's more of a half hook. To make a full cycle in the market on the stochastic, you really want to come all the way above 80 and hook back down to consider a full cycle high. Now, if you want to go for a cycle low, it would be the same. You go below 20, back above 20 to get a complete cycle low. So here's another thing. You can see we have the 200 MA on the 1 minute where we bounced off. We had a double bottom on the stochastic. We were at the extreme. We did not get divergence in price. This would not have been a very good setup, but you can see how the price reacts around MAs at certain times. This is right at open. We're very volatile, very hard to trade. So moving back a little bit further, you can see we had another parabolic move. No, we're not really parabolic. We had a pretty good run at 4 a.m. on the market right here. This is the NASDAQ, by the way. We came up, we came back down. Now, why wouldn't you want to take this trade? Because on the stochastic on the 5 minute right here, we are angling down still. We're still angling down, still angling down. And right here, we almost get the full hook. We don't get a full hook on this, actually. But look at what happens down here at the low. You see price? We make lower lows on price. But what are we doing on the stochastic? We're making a higher low. Also, whenever we get this divergence on the price and stochastic, we're also getting the hook with divergence on the 50 MA, and it is with the trend following the 50 SMA and the 15 EMA. So this would have been a very good setup based off of the 5 minute. The 1 minute, we do get a hook low, but we do not have divergence in price, which is not a 100% yes or no type of like entry. Having divergence gives you that more confirmation that, the better setup, like the A plus or the A, whatever you want to call it, but gives you more confirmation that the price will go up or down, whichever way you're looking at. You mainly want to trade this with the trend though. This does work for reversals. It's obviously a lot more risky though. All right, so here's another 5 minute setup. All these setups, by the way, that I'm showing y'all is in the same day. This is in the same trading session. Well, not trading session, but in the same 24 hours. You get a good bit of them. So let's look at the 5 minute here, mainly focused. The 1 minute does not have a divergence for the entry, but focusing on the 5 minute, we do. Looking at the 5 minute here, I'll zoom out so you can see a little bit bigger, but we have divergence on the price and divergence on the stochastic based off of these lows right here. So we were in an overall downtrend for a while. We started changing trends on the 5 minute. 50 SMA starts angling up. We get the cross. We made a higher high, a lower high, another higher high, and we come back down. We have 50 SMA as support right here. Now, why wouldn't we have taken this trade? We do have the hook. So technically, we could have taken this setup. I probably would have taken it if I would have seen it, not going to lie. But the better setup comes right afterwards once we get the divergence right here in the price and we get the full cycle hooking up. We have divergence off the low on the stochastic versus the price. Price is coming down. Stochastic is starting to go up on the 5 minute, which is a divergence. We're kind of bouncing around off the 50 SMA here. Now, obviously the better entry would be if you've seen this hammer candle to the upside start to form. That would have been a good entry with the trend. This candle might have shook you out a little bit, but in reality, once you get this hook, you want to enter in around this area, stop loss below the low. That would have been a 25-point stop loss, and you could have went for a 1-to-1 or a 1-to-2. Would have gave you the 1-to-2 almost if you would have held that or got the perfect entry. Either way, a 1-to-1, pretty decent. I'm a scalper. I don't really hold that much, so I'm looking for like, I don't know, 20 points, 30 points, 40 points. I really want to see these 100 points, 150 points, but it's kind of difficult, man. It's hard to hold these trades. All right, so I don't want to go on the 1 hour chart and just show you all kind of the stochastic and what we're looking at here. I'm really looking for Sunday's open. I think we're going to get a continuation lower based off of the 1 hour. I know we held this low back here, back in November 20th of 25. We did come back, retest that low and starting to push up. But based off of the indicators, we did come and cross back here again, and then look what happened on the 1 hour. We had divergence on the highs, just like we're looking at the 1 minute. We can look at the 1 hour and use this too. We had price come up all the way, but on the stochastic, we had a divergence on stochastic versus price. And look what happened right after that. We dumped good, 700 points. Came down, EMA, dump again, EMA, dump, back to the EMA, dump. We broke the EMA, came back up. We made a high. Now what are we looking at here? We have another divergence on stochastic versus the price. This actually is way down here, but still counts as divergence price versus stochastic. Now let's check the 4 hour and see if we also had the same setup. I guarantee you, my mentor had this exact same setup, and I guarantee you he took this setup. On the 4 hour, we also have divergence at the price versus stochastic right here. Stochastic's angling down. We're getting the hook, and the 4 hour is still going up. Now, this wouldn't have been the best trade. All the EMAs and SMAs are flat. We are in a range, and we did break above, but we can always consider the divergences of the stochastic versus the price. Also, if you look down here before we had this run up to cancel out the short downtrend, all the way from here, we're going straight down, and look what's happening on the stochastic. We are making a triple divergence, not just a single divergence. We're getting the 1, the 2, the 3 divergence on the price on the lows versus the lows on the stochastic. Right now, I'm looking, hopefully, what I'm looking at the outlooks for next week is I think we're going to be bearish overall, probably on Monday. I'm not sure about the rest of the week. But if we're kind of in this zone that we had back here that we bounced off of once, twice. We finally broke through it, came back, retested, dropped back. Well, now we're back in this zone. The 4 hour is in an extreme. We haven't got the hook yet. We could stay up here for a long time since this is a bound indicator. But if we come down to the 1 hour, we currently have the divergence on the price. So I'm actually pretty bearish for next week, and we'll kind of see how that plays out later on. Now, the daily is a lot different of a story. We are getting the hook. We had the candle close also on the hook. Considering we are in this range too, we haven't broke out. We've kind of just stayed in this area. It's not a highly likely short, I would say. We also bounced off the 200 moving average on the daily. We'll see we do have a bullish engulfing candle, but we'll see what kind of rejection we get coming back to this level and just kind of see what the market gives to us. But also, I do want to show y'all on the daily, even in the range, we're still having the divergence on the stochastic versus price. You can see it actually come in right here into play. We got divergence off the low on the stochastic versus price on that low right there, and also this low. There's a lot of divergences everywhere. And if you get the correct setups, they play out pretty good. There's also one right here before the drop. And I could just be marking out all these. I mean, you don't want to only use this as your only confluence in the market, but it is a very good tool to mark out the swing highs and swing lows of the market. I mean, and also it's right in the indicators tab. I mean, you could throw in some, MACD or something like that to give you extra confirmation on the trade, kind of add to it. But this is a really good starting ground to kind of open up, watch the markets, see how they react to certain levels, learn the swing highs and the lows of the market. Also, this is a very good tool for using on the tick charts on TopstepX. Also, it's a lot faster though, especially if you're trying to trade this 100 tick. This is ridiculous to trade. All right, so pairing the 100 tick with the 500 tick, we're gonna look at this real quick. We are in a uptrend, and pretty good uptrend. If you look right here, we get a swing low on the 500 tick with the hook, and also at the low we have divergence of the price on the 100 tick, stochastic versus price right here, and we're getting the hook on the 500 tick. We get the hook a little bit after right here on this bar. You can try to get the early, we call it the VIP entry on the trade by looking at the lower time frame, as in the 100 tick versus the 500 tick. Once you get a lot more familiar with trading the stochastic, looking swing highs and swing lows, you can almost get the VIP entry knowing that we'll see this, like especially after seeing this candle close on the 500 tick. That's more, that's a signal to enter in long, looking at price action, the candle closes, stuff like that. But yeah, guys, just wanted to show y'all a little bit how I trade, what I do, what I use, the simple indicator that I use to trade the trend. I'm a big trend trader. I've slip up, and we all do it, man. Try to go in here and short the highs over and over and over and over and blow up the account. That's what I did the other night, not gonna lie. But I enjoy it. I love it. It's a perfect little indicator just to use. It's free on pretty much, I mean, I'm sure like any trading platform will have the stochastic. The settings on it are just kind of, you can play with them based on how you want to trade. You can make them to where they'll show a little bit slower to give you maybe more precise entries, like maybe do a 1437, I think. Well, it depends on what the settings are on it, but you can look it up, play with it, look at the prices, test it, tune it to how you like it, and it'll help give you that more confirmation when you're looking for the continuation after the pullback and a trend. Hope y'all enjoyed this little video. Sell your trades. Peace out. Also, I just want to show y'all how I trade. This is just a little introductory of what I look for whenever I'm trading the markets. I'm just kind of giving out some information that I've learned and what I've tested and what's been working for me lately. Hope y'all enjoy this video.